Hello everyone, it's Gina here from orchidandopal.com. I am back today with the June 2022 Beads of the Month clubs that I just received, as well as the Findings Companion Pack, which is something you can add on to any bead subscription. As many of you know, I'm part of the double rotating Beads of the Month club, so that one rotates you through all 6 of their clubs, getting a different one every single month. And sometimes that overlaps with the single 2-hole beads and the hot and trendy Beads of the Month clubs that I also get, since those happen to be 2 of my personal favorites. And that's why this month for the hot and trendy club, that is in the double or the larger size, and the 2-hole club is in the single size. All of these subscriptions, of course, you still get 8 containers of beads. It's just that the double size contains twice the quantities. If you're interested in signing up, I have the link located right down below the video for this subscription, and I have a coupon code. It's Opal10, and that will save you 10% off the first month of your first club. Something I also love about the subscription is their customer service. It's so great and has been extremely consistent since I have started receiving these clubs. And so one of the great perks that I wanted to share is that every year on your beadiversary, a year from the start of your subscription, you'll usually get a special surprise that will show up. I wasn't expecting this at all, but this little insert came in, which is exciting, talking about what you get. And I received this lovely Swarovski component that I'm going to take out. It's a really sparkly, lovely pendant. And not only did they send this, but they also sent a very nice quality Beads of the Month Club faux leather portfolio, and it actually has a zipper. It unzips and it holds a notepad, great for jotting down some notes about your beading creations, and several pockets in here, place for your pen. So I'm very stoked to have received that. Thank you guys so much at Beads of the Month Club. All right, but getting into our beads, let's go ahead and open up the 2-hole Beads of the Month club first. It's called Turtle Beach. And of course, you may have received this particular theme or a different one, just depending on their stock availability and possibly what you've already received in the past. But every month the theme changes and you'll get a different color palette of items to work with. These 2-hole Beads of the Month clubs are full of high quality check glass and the Miyuki Tila line of 2-hole beads, and those change around all the time as well, so you won't always get the same types of beads. So if you know you like bead weaving and you love working with these unique 2-hole shapes, it's a great way to build up your stash and get inspired to work with new things. So let's do a brief flip over before we get into it. And just like you would expect with the name called Turtle Beach, we see lovely shades of greens, particularly some olive shades, some browns, and a little bit of tan. I'm going to go ahead and get organized. That way we can look at each of these containers of beads close up one at a time. And we're going to get started with our browns and neutrals first with container number 1, which is holding the Opaque Beige new Picasso Kalos Parpucas beads, and there's 6.5 grams included. Here's a close-up look at these sort of tulip-like shaped 2-hole beads. You have 1 hole that goes up through each of those pointed ends, and it's a really interesting and stone-like combination of the various shades of brown with the additional Picasso finish over the top, giving us that speckled look. There's a little bit of a luster sheen that is picked up as you move these under the light, and a little bit of a silver-like tone that's marbling through that darker brown. Up next is a new shape called the Kalos Parpucas beads. This is in the Frosted Camel Matte color combination. Here's that close-up look at this frosty neutral camel color in the matte finish with the 2 holes that run through the center of this compressed cylindrical shape. And these kind of remind me of the Minos Parpucas that have the 1 hole. These of course now have the 2 going through them, and they're just a little bit wider, I would say, than the Minos. Selection number 3 is containing the Tweety copper dagger beads. There's 25 pieces included. This is a really striking combination of a jet black in the background, and then you have a copper and a silver that is splashed across the entire surface of these 2-hole daggers, both the front and the back, with the placement of color being slightly different between each of the beads, making them really interesting to look at. And of course, you can see those 2 holes that run across the top of those dagger beads in that location up there. Our container number 4 is holding the Picasso Ivory tiles, and we have 20 pieces inside. And again, we have that Picasso finish giving us this stone-like look to these tile beads, these flat 4-sided shapes and the 2 holes running parallel through the side. I'm really intrigued by this next one. These are called the Matte Velvet Lizard Green Super Duos, 12.5 grams included. That finish is so interesting. It's like, how in the world did they get it to look like that? But it does look sort of velvety, like if it was a really fine nap on the velvet or really kind of suede-like, you would expect them to feel that way, but they simply feel like some matte glass beads. And then of course we have this really interesting grassy green color. And we usually see the Super Duos pop up every month in the 2-hole beads of the month club, a really popular 2-hole bead that are very versatile. And still a lot to work with, even though these are the quantities provided in the single version of the club. Container 6 is holding the Gold Splash Olivine Kite beads. There's 7 grams included. These catch the light beautifully. The transparent sort of celery green that is making up the base of these kite-shaped beads, with the golden splash that shows up over the top of all of the surfaces. And you can see it's got one hole that goes through the more elongated pointed side, and then another one that goes through the more compressed pointed side. Next, we have the Backlit Olivine Gem Duos, and there's 7 grams of these as well. I'm a big fan of these Backlit Gem Duo beads, and you've seen me use them in different tutorials and things, specifically the Backlit Gem Duo bracelet that I shared recently. These would be a great candidate to use in that design. I love combining the backlit varieties with more of the opaque varieties to really set these off, and how they have that reflective quality from the metallic back and then the transparent glass that they have in various colors. And of course, these are a diamond shape with the silver flat side on the bottom and then the olive green color on the top that is a little bit more domed, and the hole going through both of those pointed ends. And for our 8th and final container in this club, we have 7 grams of metallic suede light green ginkgo beads. They have that beautiful light satiny finish that you expect to see on the suede varieties. This is more of a forest green color, and you can see how it appears either a little bit lighter or darker depending on where the light is hitting the surface of the bead. And you have the rounded side and the pointed side with a hole going up through each side of the ginkgo leaf shapes. So I think they did an amazing job with the 2-hole beads of the month club in the Turtle Beach theme. The colors, of course, are totally on point for the theme. We've got plenty here to work with, another unique variety of all different 2-hole shapes and colors that can coordinate together with each other or can be combined with other things from the stash of beads you may already have. Now that we've taken a look at that, we'll do the same thing with Tropical Dream, the double hot and trendy club. And since I'm receiving the double version of this club this time around, I'll be coming back with a video later on this month where I'm actually going to be making as many things as possible using the beads that are included in this club. So if you're interested in seeing some finished pieces, make sure you come back or make sure you're subscribed so you are notified when that video comes out later this month. And let's do a little flip over. And here is our Tropical Dream palette, full of greens and yellows, it looks like, in all different shades. And I think it would be really pretty too to add some pops of hot pink along with the beads provided in this club. That would really be set off by these sunny and buttery yellows and the foliage green shades. And once again, I'm going to get organized so we can take a closer look at all of these unique beads one at a time. And it looks like a lot of these beads would actually pair very nicely with the beads from the Turtle Beach collection. And who knows, maybe I'll include some of those beads with these in the finished pieces. We'll just have to see. But we start out with container number 1, which is holding 14 grams of the Ivory Opaque Ceramic Look Arkos Parpucas. This is just a portion of the quantity of 3-hole beads that we get in this variety. You can see that very pale pastel creamy yellow with the 3 holes that run through these beads that are in the arc-like shape. And of course, the Hot and Trendy Club is going to include all sorts of different things and possibly even 3 or 4-hole beads along with single-hole beads and unique pressed shapes. So it's really great for those of you who are more adventurous and want to work with all different types of check glass beads in all of their unique varieties. Our second container is holding these really cool looking yellow opaque laser matte rye dagger beads. There's 50 pieces inside. They have a very vibrant yellow core and overall have a matte-like appearance, and they've got that laser etched design, making these look sort of leaf-like or like a stalk of grain or fern-like, something like that. They are the single hole dagger variety. You can see the hole that is at the top, and they have that slightly bluish metallic color that's coating the very vibrant yellow, giving us some areas that look more olive green and those bright pops of blue that show up as the light is hitting them differently. In our third container, we have the green opaque travertine Hawaiian flowers, and we have 10 of those. We have the bright chartreuse color in the opaque glass that is showing off those outer areas of the petals and the travertine finish that makes the center of these flowers look more stone-like. You can see the hole that is located right there. It runs through the side of the center of these beads. So this is the face of what shows up in your design if they're strung that way. And you have the travertine coating that is around the edges, really framing off that pop of sort of lime green. Up next, we have a generous quantity of these chalk white teal luster leaf beads. There's 30 of those included. Here are just a few of these, the drop-like shape, and you can see how they're sort of curved as well. They have the hole that runs through the top of the bead, through the side. The vein detail of the leaves shows up a little bit more pronounced, the way the coating is settling on the top of the glass, and overall these have a lighter green appearance in the background and a little bit of the darker green settling into most of those pressed details. We then have a large container containing 40 pieces of the painted yellow flowers. And again, here's just part of the quantity in my hand, a ton of these to work with as well, similar to the Hawaiian flowers in their shape, but without the table cut glass and without the travertine on the inside and the outside. But these do have the deeper, more vibrant yellow wash that coats the details of the pastel yellow that shows up in the background. They are opaque and they are the same on both sides. Next up, we have 100 pieces of pastel cream Cali beads, another 3-hole shape. Some more satiny, very light pastel buttery yellow in these ellipse-shaped beads with the 3 holes running parallel through the face at a pretty equal distance. And they've got that domed top and bottom that you'll be able to see when these are strung into a design. Container 7 is holding 12 grams of cardamom bow ties. So we have another very unique 3-hole bead shape with the variegated color combination of that sort of sage green in the background with the bronze and antique gold that is showing up on the surface. And you can see why they're called bow tie beads with their shape, and also there's the placement of the 3 holes. So yet another 3-hole shape to work with from this month's club, and the final container is also holding a 3-hole shape. And that shape is the Curry Bridge bead. There's 12 grams included. These are gorgeous. They have that kind of caramel drizzle appearance with the rich metallic that is drizzled over that light opaque glass and giving us this overall golden camel color. And these bridge beads, of course, kind of remind me of like a drawer handle. Of course, you can see why they're called a bridge bead as well. And you can see the 3 holes that run through these beads, 2 on either side, and the 1 running through the center. So that concludes the Tropical Dream hot and trendy theme that I received for this month, of course, in the double quantity. In the single quantity, you would get half the amount, you would still get 8 containers. And I am stoked to work with some of these beads for that video to come later in the month. I can't wait to see what comes out of this very lush palette. And like I said, I think I might even bring in some pops of hot pink and maybe some other brighter colors as well that have come from past themes in addition to what we see here, but we will find out. I think this is another awesome selection of hot and trendy beads, very unique shapes, a coordinating color palette, tons of beads to work with, just what you can expect for this club. And every month the themes and palettes will change, so it's always a fun surprise to see what shows up. And now that we've seen both of these bead clubs, let's take a peek at the Findings Companion Pack for this month. I received the Antique Copper Assortment number 3, and these, of course, contain high-quality components and metallic findings that match the quality of the beads we received. First on our list are the 2 pewter Celtic toggle clasps with lots of detail going on, and they're double-sided. Next, we have 4 pieces of the pendant drop beads with open circles. So these could be used as sort of like a bail. You could attach a pendant, such as a gemstone or a beaded component to that and use that to string onto your beadwork. You could also use this incorporated into a bracelet and use that to attach a metallic charm component. Next, we have a 3-strand rectangle and 3-inch extender chain with lobster clasp. This is, of course, all put together here for us and ready to go for a 3-strand necklace, perhaps, or a bracelet. And there is a look at the other side of that component. Then next we have 10 pieces of these. These are like a daisy spacer times 3. So they would be great for spacing out multi-strand pieces that you want to create. In the coordinating antique copper, you have the 3 holes that are lined up there and would pull your strands all together. And then we have 2 pairs or 4 total of these fishhook ear wires with the leaf details, and they've included the backs for us, which is awesome. We also have 15 pieces of these 20 gauge 6mm jump rings in the antique copper. So they're including a lot of different things in the coordinating metals, as they do with these companion packs. So you can end up making things and pretty much have all the components you might need included. But as usual, you get some unique things, not just a simple head pin you get all the time, but say something like this with the knot detail on the bottom. These are 2 inches long and a 21 gauge, and you get a total of 4 pieces of these included. Another awesome variety, once again, you can find all the details on their website about all their different clubs and the pricing. There's so many different options you can choose from depending on how much you'd like to receive, what types of beads you use, and all those sorts of things. And don't forget you can use the coupon code OPAL10 to save 10% off the first month of your first club. And of course, you can sign up for different clubs at the same time if you'd like to, and opt in to receive the findings each month along with your beads if you'd like to do that. Something else you also get with a bead subscription is a link on your invoice that comes with your package, and that will take you to a new page each month with 3 downloadable beading patterns that you can either download and or print. And usually they include some of these more unique shapes, which is always helpful, and provide additional ideas as to what to do with what you received. So stay tuned for some finished pieces, particularly from Tropical Dream. Be sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite item is here, or if you liked these clubs in general, or anything else you'd like to say. And feel free to share the video wherever you'd like. I will be back again real soon, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.